Hi, in this example, we're going to discuss the domain of a function. So recall that the domain of any function is just going to be all x values for which the function is defined. In doing this, we have to look at each kind of family of functions in particular. So we did discuss rational functions, square root functions, and now we're going to discuss polynomials or a quadratic function. So what is the domain of the function f of x equal to x squared minus 7x plus 2? So it looks really simple, but yet you really have to have a deeper understanding of functions. In your experience, we have to think about these trinomials and think about, well, if it has to be all these x values that the function's defined, where did I have trouble when I plugged and chugged x values for something like a trinomial like this? And we think and we're like, we really didn't. Like I could really plug in anything I really wanted. And that's where that comes from. It's more intuitional and more of experience. So if I looked at some graph of this, it's some upward parabola, right? And here's like the x-axis. So here are all these x values down here. Now, is there ever going to be a time where I wouldn't be able to plug in a value for x and get a number to spit out? Right, so if I took this one, would I get a y value? Yeah. Would I get a y value here? Yeah. Would I get a y value here? Yeah. And then I could keep going up and up and up and going to bigger x's and say, oh yeah, there's a y value here, y value. And I don't really run into trouble, right? We don't have trouble. This is why we like polynomials so much. So here, the domain would be, in this case, all real numbers. And in interval notation, that literally would be the whole real number line, negative infinity to infinity. There's no excluding values. Unlike the square roots, we had a square root, right, where the radicand had to be greater than 0, so we had trouble there. We also had some sort of rational function like a fraction, right, where we know, oops, this denominator can't be 0, and we had to exclude values. But in this case, with polynomials or quadratic functions, they're all real numbers, and their domain is negative infinity to infinity. So in this case, we would just select the drop-down menu to be equals, and then the answer we would enter as infinity.